This video presents topics of violence, danger, and murder. Viewer discretion advised.
The death of Kendrick Johnson in 2013 is a tragic and controversial case that garnered national attention due to the mysterious circumstances surrounding his demise. Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old African-American high school student from Valdosta, Georgia. His body was discovered inside a rolled-up wrestling mat in the gymnasium of Laudez High School on January 11, 2013. Here are some of the key aspects of the Kendrick Johnson case. The initial investigation. The initial investigation by local authorities concluded that Kendrick Johnson's death was accidental, attributed to positional asphyxia. The official narrative suggested that Kendrick had climbed into the gym mat to retrieve a shoe, got stuck, and suffocated. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation conducted the autopsy and supported the accidental death ruling. However, the Johnson family disputed these findings, expressing skepticism about the official version of events. The controversial autopsy. Kendrick's parents, Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, hired a private pathologist, Dr. William R. Anderson, to conduct a second autopsy. Dr. Anderson concluded that Kendrick's death was not accidental and instead pointed to non-accidental blunt force trauma. The conflicting autopsy reports heightened suspicions and intensified the controversy surrounding the case. The surveillance footage. The school's surveillance footage was central to the investigation. However, several hours of footage from the gym on the day of Kendrick's death was reportedly missing or unusable. This fueled conspiracy theories and raised questions about the transparency of the investigation. Legal action. The Johnson family filed a wrongful death suit against the Laudez County School District, alleging that Kendrick's death resulted from a pattern of racial discrimination and harassment at the school. The lawsuit also accused individuals of being involved in a cover-up. The FBI investigation. Amid public outcry and persistence of the Johnson family, the Department of Justice, as well as the FBI, launched an investigation into Kendrick's death on October 2013. However, in June 2016, the federal authorities closed the case, stating that there was insufficient evidence to support any criminal charges against any individual or group of individuals. Ongoing doubts and activism. Despite official investigations closing the case, doubts and suspicions persisted. Kendrick's family, along with activists and supporters, continued to push for a thorough re-examination of the circumstances surrounding his death. Conspiracy theories. The Kendrick Johnson case has generated numerous conspiracy theories, with some suggesting foul play and cover-up involving fellow students or individuals associated with the school. The theories often circulate online and through social media. The Kendrick Johnson case remains a deeply polarizing and unfortunately unresolved mystery. The lack of clear answers, conflicted evidence, and the emotional toll on the Johnson family contribute to the enduring interest and controversy surrounding this tragic event. Unfortunately, There are no official suspects named or charged in connection with the death of Kendrick Johnson. The official investigations, including those conducted by local authorities, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and the FBI, concluded that Kendrick's death was accidental, resulting from positional asphyxia. However, various conspiracy theories and speculations have circulated on social media and in certain communities, suggesting potential suspects or individuals who might have been involved in foul play. These theories often implicate fellow students, school officials, or others associated with the Loudons High School. It's important to note that these theories lack credible evidence and have not been substantiated by official investigations. The official cause of death, as determined by the GBI autopsy, was, as mentioned before, positional asphyxia, and no criminal charges were ever filed in connection with Kendrick Johnson's death. If there are any further developments in the case, it is important to check local news sources or official statements for the most current information. Keep in mind that discussing individuals as suspect without proper evidence can be legally and ethically problematic. If you suspect anyone or believe that you have important evidence or information about the case, please contact the appropriate individual or individuals or organization and present that evidence to those individuals. The investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson involved multiple agencies and investigators at various levels. Here are some of the key entities involved in examining the circumstances surrounding Kendrick Johnson's death. Local law enforcement. The initial response and investigation was, of course, carried out by the local law enforcement agencies, including the Valdosta Police Department. Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The GBI played a crucial role in the investigation, conducting the official autopsy on Kendrick Johnson's and providing analysis and findings related in the case. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, involved in the case in 2013, October to be precise, responding to requests from the Kendrick Johnson family and community activists. The FBI aimed to review the circumstances surrounding Kendrick's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Georgia was involved in overseeing and coordinating the federal investigation. Private investigators. As mentioned earlier, Kendrick's family hired private investigators to conduct an independent review of the case. These investigators often work alongside legal teams to gather additional evidence or perspectives. Forensic experts. Forensic experts, including pathologists and other specialists, were also involved in examining the evidence related to the Kendrick Johnson autopsy and the circumstances surrounding his death. It's important to note that investigations into high-profile cases often involve collaboration between multiple agencies, each with its own set of experts and investigators. Additionally, specific individuals within these agencies and entities may have been assigned to the Kendrick Johnson case, but their names may not be publicly disclosed due to legal and privacy considerations. If you are looking for the most up-to-date and comprehensive list of investigators involved in the Kendrick Johnson case, it's recommended to check official statements, legal documents, or news reports for the latest information. Keep in mind that some details about the investigation may be subject to legal constraints and privacy protections. The Kendrick Johnson case involved various pieces of evidence that were examined by investigators. While some of the evidence supported the official conclusion of the accidental death due to positional asphyxia, other aspects fueled controversy and skepticism. Here is some of the key evidence in the Kendrick Johnson case. The surveillance footage. The gymnasium where Kendrick Johnson was found dead had surveillance cameras. However, there are discrepancies and missing segments in the footage from the day of Kendrick's death. Some questioned the transparency and completeness of the evidence. The gym mat and crime scene. The rolled up gym mat in which Kendrick's body was found was a central piece of evidence. Investigators concluded that Kendrick's climbed into the mat to retrieve a shoe and became stuck. The position of the body and the mat's structure were considered during the investigation. Autopsy reports. The official autopsy conducted by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation concluded that Kendrick Johnson's death was accidental and resulted from positional asphyxia. The determination was based on the examination of the body and internal organs. Kendrick's family, however, hired a private pathologist, Dr. David R. Anderson, who conducted a second autopsy. Dr. Anderson's report suggested a non-accidental blunt force trauma as the cause of death, contradicting directly the official findings. Clothing and personal items. Of course, Kendrick's clothing, including the clothes he was wearing when his body was discovered, was examined for any signs of trauma or foul play. Personal items found at the scene were also considered as part of the investigation. Witness statements. Statements from individuals who were present at the school or who had interactions with Kendrick on the day of his death were taken into account. Witness statements contributed to the timeline of events leading up to the discovery of his body. Forensic analysis. Forensic experts analyzed various aspects, including blood spatter patterns, to gather information about the circumstances surrounding Kendrick's death. These analyses were conducted as a part of both official and private autopsies. Shoe. Kendrick was initially believed to have climbed into the gym mat to retrieve a shoe. The location and condition of the shoe were considered as evidence. However, some questioned the plausibility of the scenario given the size of the mat and other factors. Cell phone records. Investigators likely reviewed Kendrick Johnson's cell phone records to establish his movements and contacts leading to his death. It's essential to note that the interpretation of evidence in the Kendrick Johnson case has been a source of controversy, with conflicting opinions from various experts and investigators. The case remains continuous, and different individuals and groups continue to view the evidence through different lenses. Kendrick Johnson was born on October 10, 1995, in Valdosta, Georgia, to Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson. Here's a very brief biography of Kendrick Johnson, the victim in this case. Kendrick Johnson grew up in Valdosta, a city southern in southern Georgia, USA. He attended Lowndes High School in Valdosta, where he was a student athlete. Kendrick was involved in sports, particularly wrestling. He was a member of the high school's wrestling team. Kendrick was a part of a close knit family. His parents, Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, were deeply affected by his death and became very vocal advocates seeking justice for their son. Kendrick Johnson's body was discovered on January 11, 2013, in the gymnasium of the Lowndes High School. The initial investigation ruled his death accidental, attributing it to positional asphyxia, suggesting that he climbed into a rolled up gym mat to retrieve a shoe and became stuck. Kendrick's family disputed the official findings, expressing skepticism about the accidental death ruling. The Johnson family filed a wrongful death suit against the Lowndes County School District, alleging that Kendrick's death was a result of a pattern of racial discrimination and harassment at the school. The lawsuit also accused individuals of being involved in a cover-up. The case gained national attention, leading to public demonstrations, calls for justice, and discussions about the circumstances of his death. Kendrick Johnson's death remains a controversial and unfortunately still unresolved case, with ongoing efforts by his family and supporters to seek further investigation and justice. The case has sparked discussions about transparency in investigations, the treatment of minority students in schools, and the role of law enforcement in high-profile cases. The tragic circumstances surrounding Kendrick's death has left a lasting impact on his family and has raised broader questions about the handling of such cases with the criminal justice system. The controversy and unanswered questions continue to shape discussions around issues of accountability and transparency.